From the first line of code, Redis had one goal: make apps faster. And together, we, developers, hackers, visionaries, all of us, we created the world's most loved database. We did that. And along the way, we inspired others, using the power of Redis to power the world's most popular, most critical, most valuable real-time apps. But then we asked, where do we go from here? How do you make something better when it's better than you imagined? The answer was right in front of us. To truly unify the entire Redis community around a single vision, as one Redis. Committed to open source, still blazing fast, still easy to use, deploy, scale. Delivering a real-time data platform to build next-gen modern apps. Harnessing the power of developers, architects, and you to make the world's most loved database even better. One dream, one goal, one vision, one Redis.
Welcome. I am thrilled to be your host for this webinar. We have created some great content, which we hope will keep you engaged and feed your curiosity for the next hour. Customer experience is a critical topic for any business. We will highlight the role of real-time data in improving customer experience. I am Prasanna Rajgopal. I have spent over 22 years in the software industry in engineering and customer-facing roles at companies such as Oracle and Dell. I've spent the last decade working with customers in a pre-sales role, helping them architect solutions for their various business challenges. I have worked at Redis for the past 2 years. I am delighted to be co-presenting this webinar with a great solution architect, Sumit Shatwara. Sumit has been at Redis for the past year, working with our fabulous banking and financial services and digital native customers across India. He has over 9 years of experience in the software industry, specializing in cloud native and data technologies. Before joining Redis, he worked with various organizations such as Red Hat and NetApp. Sumit, welcome. Here are the topics we will cover today. We will kick off by speaking about why your entire business success may rest on delivering great customer experiences and why real-time data plays a critical role in delivering these great customer experiences. We will then give you an overview of the Redis real-time data platform. Sumit has prepared a demo for you. After the demo, I will share a few customer stories. We are doing this session for you, so please ask questions at any time. Emotions drive everything we do in life. When we talk to a colleague, work on a project, interact with our banking app, watch a webinar, buy a product, or order food online, emotions drive everything we do in life. Consciously or subconsciously, we feel emotions in every activity that we do. Many leading companies understand this, which is why they obsess over customer experience. A great customer experience drives positive emotions and better engagement with a company or an app. In this age of intense competition, increased inflation, and slowing growth rates, providing a great experience online and in stores is more important than ever. The customer should get a consistent experience, and it has to be seamless when he is using the digital app or the physical store. Here are a few examples of companies obsessed over customer experience. T-Mobile, an American cell phone company, says that they will work with Google Cloud to transform their customer experience. CVS Health, a healthcare company, says that excellent digital services can help drive patient engagement, deliver better health outcomes, and lower the cost of serving each patient. Starbucks, a coffee company, wants to deliver effortless digital convenience by providing a great experience in its mobile app and its physical stores. Customers like the experience and comfort of the Starbucks app, and they reward Starbucks by becoming a member of their loyalty program. Starbucks has 58 million rewards members worldwide, and that program continues to grow. Rewards members usually spend more with a company. When you deliver a great customer experience, you increase customer engagement, you reduce churn. Nobody ever says, I love my banking app and the services provided by my bank, but I am going to go switch my bank now. Nobody ever says, I love this retail store. They have great products, great customer service, great prices, but I'm going to shop in a different store. When you deliver a great experience, you get a customer for life. You reduce customer churn. When you reduce your customer churn, you do not have to spend money or on advertising and marketing trying to acquire new customers. When you do not have to spend money on acquiring new customers, your existing customers spend more with you and you end up increasing your profits. When your revenue goes up, but your costs go down, your profits go up. You love your food delivery app. These apps are very accurate in estimating delivery times. How do you think they do that? They use advanced analytics, machine learning models, and an essential ingredient, real-time data. If you want to deliver a great customer experience, you need real-time data. Powering the product catalog and product search feature in retail, you need real-time data platform to provide that functionality. You need real-time data in sports and gaming to drive player engagement. Let's take My Team 11, a fantasy sports company in India with 17 million customers, as an example in the gaming and fantasy sports space. They improved customer experience by using Redis Enterprise to drive use cases such as authentication and modification of fantasy teams. Many millions of fantasy players created and edited their teams in the last 30 minutes before the start of a game. The relational database could not handle the load during these peak times. Redis's real-time data platform solved this problem for them, eliminated the calls that they were getting to the customer support center, and improved customer experience and engagement. There are various use cases in financial services that depend on real-time data. Real-time payment platforms depend on real-time data to complete complex money transfer operations. Many payment platforms use Redis to drive real-time services. Stock trading, mobile banking, and risk management rely on real-time data to drive a fabulous customer experience. In healthcare, various use cases involve real-time data to drive great customer experiences. In many ways, Redis is the perfect data platform for this era. It is built on open source, is best-in-class technology, and is easy to use, deploy, and maintain. The open source version of Redis is the most downloaded database in the world. By any measure, Redis is a very popular database. Redis has a very engaged community of developers. The product is straightforward to use. It took me just 2 hours to write a simple app using Redis as the database, and I used the Python API to work with Redis. As I mentioned earlier, Redis has its roots in open source. The open source version offers simple data structures such as strings and sets that you can use to build a super fast application. Redis Enterprise expands on Redis open source. It offers multi-nodal support with many features that enterprises need to run their applications in production. Redis Enterprise is built on top of Redis open source database and has all the features of Redis open source, plus offers features that companies need to deploy Redis in production, such as clustering, linear scalability, and 5.9 availability. For example, customers can deploy Redis Enterprise in an active data resiliency architecture. Yes, Redis Enterprise offers the reliability and high availability features that companies need. The feature that gets me most excited is the multi-modal database support. You can create search indexes on your data using Redis Search and have a super fast search feature in your application. If your application needs to store JSON documents, we offer Redis JSON as a module. In short, you can cover all your application requirements using Redis Enterprise. You don't have to use multiple databases and deal with all that complexity. We are going to do a short poll before I hand you over to Sumit, who's going to walk you through a little bit more deeper dive on Redis and then show us his great demo. So we're going to start with a poll now. So our first question is, which domain or vertical are you working in? Banks, financial services, media and telco, retail, and others. We're getting some good response. There's a lot of people from the other category here. And that's one of the things is we have, Sumit can also talk about this, is we have customers across a wide range of industries. We are surprised that they come up with new use cases in various different industries. For example, in manufacturing, we have customers and who want to use us for like management execution systems or manufacturing execution systems, things like that. So a wide variety of use cases. What is your role in the organization? We got a nice broad breadth of people here, from architects to developers to C-level and VP level folks, managers and others too. So we are grateful for your time. So we are going to quickly get into this, what is Redis, and Sumit is going to take over from here. Thank you, Sumit.
All right. Let me share my screen. Let me know if my screen is visible.
It's coming up for me. Yeah, it's visible now. Thank you, Sumit.
Got it. Thanks, everyone. Good morning. So let's start, first of all, with what is Redis, right? So since most of you are already aware of Redis, but if some of you want to understand more or don't know about Redis, I just want to introduce the Redis to you. So Redis is the most popular key value database in the world, and it stands for Remote Dictionary Server. It is an open source licensed database with an in-memory architecture, which is used as a cache, streaming engine, message broker, or the primary database. Redis is written in C, and it was initially developed by Salvatore Sanfilippo in 2009. Since then, Redis is ranking in top 100 projects out of 200 plus million projects in GitHub, and this ranking is based on GitHub stars, right? Redis is also a single-threaded engine by design, which is a strength, where CPU doesn't become a bottleneck since all the operations of Redis are memory-based. And in most cases, the only bottleneck which is likely to happen is due to the memory size or the capacity or the network bandwidth. And for higher performance and scale, we also have a clustering solution to solve that use case. Redis stores all the data in the memory for fast read and the write operations. It can also persist data on the disk using periodic snapshots or appending all the operations to disk-based logs optionally. And Redis is also known as a data structure server, which I'll discuss in the next slide. And if you see the popularity of the database management systems, the go-to way to see the popularity is the DB Engine ranking. So DB Engine ranks database management systems according to their adoption in the IT industry and the popularity amongst the developer and the IT practitioners. And this ranking is updated monthly, right? And if you see here in this chart, there are top 25 databases available in the world, and Redis is also ranking as the top key value databases, gaining the huge popularity day by day. If you see here, when compared to the last year, and when we compare it to the other database in the similar lines, Redis, the popularity of Redis is growing day by day, as I mentioned, right? And whatever other options are there in terms of in-memory databases or the key value databases are losing their place in the DB engine rankings table. Now, why Redis at the first place, right? So Redis can be differentiated from other data technologies due to its three different factors, which is performance, simplicity, and extensibility. So when talk about performance, Redis is, as I mentioned, it's written in C programming language. It serves data from memory, so it is good for workloads like high throughput and low latency workloads. You can think of it as a memory as a service. And talking about the simplicity, Redis has the core data structures, which is found in any of the modern programming language. It is also called as a Swiss Army knife of the database, where each data structure is a different tool. And leveraging these multiple data structures opens up a world of use cases and possibilities. And talking about the extensibility, we introduced something called module systems or the modules API in Redis 4.0. And this allows us to pry the Swiss Army knife apart and introduce new data models with the power of Redis speed. And we as a company has published various supported modules, which we will discuss later in the slides. Any Python, Go, Rust, Java programming language, or which compiles down to C program can become a module. Now let's double click on each one of them in the next slide. Starting with the performance, Redis Enterprise as a NoSQL database has a shared nothing architecture to enable the linear scaling, unlike the traditional disk-based relational databases. It also utilizes the multiple core or the multi-node architecture with scaling and the resharding capabilities. That also happens without any downtime. And this architecture enabled us to reach up to hundreds of millions of operations per second. And based on our internal benchmarking on AWS Cloud, it could reach up to 200 million ops per second with a sub-millisecond latency on 40 AWS EC2 instance. Now, talking about the simplicity, just to set a context, every database needs a data model which defines how data is stored and retrieved. And this is one of the critical decisions when choosing or when you want to choose a database to solve a particular problem. So Redis at its core has unique structure for storing and accessing data based on the usage. It is all about keys. Since it is a key value database, there is no enforced schemas. There is no secondary index or free form querying, but we'll talk about how it could be solved with the extended modules in the later slide. And a value can be any valid Redis data type or the data structures which you can see in the slide. And Redis supports all of these data structures, and these are some of the Lego blocks or the building blocks when you create any modern application, data intensive application. So in fact, it may be helpful to think Redis as a data structure store rather than just thinking a simple key value NoSQL store, just like other database. And the supported data structures are strings, lists, sets, sorted sets, hashes, bit arrays, streams, and hyperlog logs. And each data structure has a different use case or scenario for which it is best suited, which we'll discuss in the next slide. And beyond these data structures, Redis also supports pub/sub pattern, Redis streams, and additional patterns that make Redis suitable for modern data intensive application. Now let's understand some of the use cases of these data structures, how you can leverage in your application. So like any other key value database engine, strings in Redis is the most straightforward or the most versatile data type. If you are familiar with Memcache, you can quickly get started with Redis strings. A value in a string can be a text string, a integer, a float, or a bitmap. And it is all of these are operated with different commands. The typical use case of Redis string is you can cache database queries, HTML pages, or API responses, etc. Talking about the bitmaps are another type of string storage in Redis. which provides a set of bit-oriented operations built on the string type. A bitmap is an array of bits where each bit can be either 0 or 1. A few of the use cases of bitmap include checking whether a user is active in gaming or the social networking application by setting the user status as 0 or 1 using bits. Also, you can count the number of elements using a group of bits. For example, counting the number of population in a region or number of users in any application system. Bit fields are another type of string storage in Redis, which provides a set of bit-oriented operations built on the string type. Bit fields also extend this by doing more, which can store numeric values as well. So you can use bit fields to manage access controls. There is a very good InfoWorld blog available, which explains how you can use bit fields to manage user access controls. Moving on to the next, hashes. Hashes are also a versatile data types in Redis, just like string, as it allows storing multiple objects attributes within one single key. And similar to hash table, hashes allows storing an object state within multiple fields and its corresponding values. And the benefits of using hash is like you can read and update any field without pulling the whole fields and values within a hash, right? And hashes can be used, as mentioned here, for the storing the user session states or storing the user profiles. Currently, you cannot store nested objects in hashes. However, we will discuss how nested structures can be stored using JSON objects in the Redis later. Moving on to the Redis list. Redis list are the ordered set of related elements, where all the elements in the list are binary safe strings, and elements can be added from right or the left position and can be read by its position using the index. And Redis list can also be used to implement some of the advanced capabilities like stacks and queues. It can also use to build queue management systems for background worker processes. And it is also used in various open source solutions available like Rescue, Sidekick, Celery, Logstash, etc. Redis sets. Sets are the collection of unique and the random string members. They are similar to list, how a group of members is stored within a single key, but they are different in terms of usage. For example, unlike list, you cannot retrieve a member based on its index, and cannot store duplicate members. That said, deduplication is one of the primary use case of sets, and some of the other interesting use case of sets include tracking unique items, or representing some of the relations, or building recommendation systems within an application, etc. Sorted sets are an ordered collection of unique members where ordering is implemented using an associated score. And sorted sets are somewhat similar to sets and the hashes. The only difference is here the score provides the sorting and the ranking capabilities in Redis natively, as it automatically keeps the list of members sorted by that score. One of the most obvious use case of sorted sets is you can use it for building leaderboard systems, where if you see most of the gaming applications are powered by Redis. And other use cases include building a real-time bid management systems or priority queues, etc. Geospatial indexing is a unique way to store and encode data that signifies, or you can define any entity in terms of latitude and longitude. And this data pattern makes working with geospatial data without any effort. Hyperlog logs are the probabilistic data structures to estimate the count of a unique items. It usually trade perfect accuracy for efficient memory usage. Some of the exciting use cases of hyperlog logs are counting unique views of videos on a video hosting platform, creating a traffic heat map of a city, counting individual votes and likes of a post in a social networking site, or counting unique search queries within a search engine, etc. Last but not the least, streams. Redis streams is yet another robust data structure introduced in Redis 5.0, inspired from the Kafka architecture. It acts like a append-only log-like data structure that naturally guarantees ordering by time. Although it can store data just similar to append-only logs, just like any other system. The only difference is here you can stream cell can allow you to reading any element from the stream in a constant time, and it also allows some of the advanced consumer operations which you see in Kafka-like systems, right? Some of the use cases of Kafka or the streams here, which you can imagine as event streaming engine or event sourcing or building a notification systems, etc. So by now you understand that Redis is simple and powerful, but it is also extensible to accommodate other complex data structures and models. Redis also supports modules API to implement new Redis commands, which can be executed within the core database engine at the speed of Redis. Now let's talk about some of them. Also, you should note the performance advantage mentioned in green here. We already talked about data structures and streams in the last slide. Talking about Redis time series, this adds a time series data structure to Redis. With memory efficiency, you can ingest and query millions of samples or events at the speed of Redis. With the advanced capabilities like downsampling or aggregation, you can use it for building charts, application monitoring, or anomaly detection. About the Redis JSON, it is also a module that extends Redis with high performance document database capabilities. It implements JSON as a native data type in Redis. And you might be knowing that JSON is widely used in all the modern applications, web applications, which you see. And with Redis JSON, it can help you to store, retrieve, and manipulate JSON documents within the Redis keys. You can also use Redis JSON as a caching layer in an application or as a query accelerator on top of the slow disk-based databases or as a primary database. Some of the use case of Redis JSON are you can build a customer 360 engine using Redis JSON. You can build product catalogs, content management systems, etc. About Redis Search is a powerful indexing, querying, or full text search engine. If you are aware of the Solar or the Elasticsearch, it is similar to that. And it also enables you to where you can query different information on top of Redis hash and the Redis JSON data type. You can also search for different contextual terms and answer multiple complex questions using Redis Search. You can use Redis Search for use cases like building an enterprise search system, having customer service and insights within your application, or having indexing on top of other external databases and others. Redis Graph is a graph database, as the name suggests, which is built on Redis. It is based on the property graph model where each node can have a relationship with other nodes with multiple attributes. Use cases of Redis Graph includes building a recommendation engine on real-time fraud prevention systems. Redis Blooms, it also extends some of the advanced probabilistic data structures like Bloom filters and Cuckoo filters, which lets you check if an element isn't present in a set using a fraction of memory space. You can use them for use cases like advertisement placement, product recommendation, deduplication, and other use cases. It also has some other data structures like count, min, sketch, and top K that estimates the frequency of an element and some of the top K highest ranked elements within a data stream, respectively. You can use them for taking the most profitable products in your retail application or building scalable leaderboards for any of the gaming applications where memory size is not the issue. You can do right data modeling with top K. You can also build some of or measure the trending items like trending posts, trending news, or trending stocks in your stock applications and various other use cases, right? You can also use Redis for various AI/ML use cases, such as online feature store or vector similarity search. And although it has got the loosely coupled design where you can load modules only needed for your use case, all these data structures act as a first-class citizen within the Redis database engine. Now let's talk about some of the challenges in the application architecture. In a monolithic architecture, everything is contained in one large unit. That means when something breaks, as even some of the best software sometimes does, it breaks as a whole. Even if you started out with a lean project, over time, software tends to grow in complexity. And as you add more and more features and workarounds, in the end, updates and the releases can really become slow and painful. As you all know that microservices architecture is the modern way of developing applications. The goal is to reduce development complexity and ease the deployment headaches. You can rapidly make changes, build and release updates as long as the inputs and the outputs aren't affected, and developer can move fast without breaking things apart. But the microservices development environments can become complex and unwieldy if every service is allowed to work off its own infrastructure, which means no sharing of data. That is, every service can have its own database. This is called as a polyglot persistence, and this can cause unnecessary cost and maintenance occur. How do we solve it with the Redis Enterprise? So Redis Enterprise is a natural fit for microservices architecture and also for architectures like serverless or event-driven applications to provide better customer experience. For example, Redis Cache here can provide the real-time performance for the best end-user experience where most of our customers are using it for. Since Redis Enterprise is a multi-model NoSQL database, it fits a wide variety of use cases and consolidate a number of technical requirements into a single platform. And this is much needed for polyglot persistence, which I just talked about. It also has a multi-tenancy. That means hundreds of databases can be managed and provisioned and maintained independently within a single cluster, so that you don't need to manage it independently. Instead, you can provision a big cluster that can serve tens or hundreds of databases with different HA or failover configurations. As a result, it can provide much more consolidated infrastructure footprint when you compare to other Redis open source variant available with different architectures like Sentinel and clustering. Right? We also have a product called Redis Connect, which provides CTC or change data capture capabilities, which allows you to sync data from underlying databases such as Oracle, MySQL, and PostgreSQL to Redis. This is ideal for migration to microservices, especially when performing migrations with Strangler pattern or CQRS pattern, which is called command query responsibility segregation. And Redis Enterprise also exposes a number of messaging capabilities for intercommunication between the microservices and building event-driven architecture. For example, PubSub is a fire and forget pattern that provides at most once delivery guarantee. If you want a reliable delivery, you can use streams for at least once delivery guarantees or the list data structures. So downtime directly impacts revenue, as we all know that, and it also hampers the customer experience. So making a true highly available system is a critical factor when you choose a particular database solution. And availability is just more than just having a website or application being up. It also means scaling to handle the peak traffic in the festive season, or any other pattern where you see that your data systems needs to be very highly available and scalable during that peak hours. Redis Enterprises enhances Redis deployments with seamless zero downtime scaling and clustering. As well as it also provides some of the enterprise capabilities like high availability, persistence, cross-geo replication, instance automatic failover, backups, disaster recovery, etc. Redis Enterprise CRDTs, which are based on active geo replication, guarantees provides the local latency for both read and write operations with automatic conflict resolution mechanism in different geographics at the same time. So the local latency is always under a millisecond, even if it is globally distributed across multiple regions and the continents. So we will see how we can use active-active in the upcoming demo. So poll time, Rakila, if you can just enable the poll now.
Okay, Sumit, thank you for that great overview of Redis Enterprise, Redis open source. You talked about PubSub feature, you talked about streams. We have so many customers who use PubSub and streams and some of our modules such as Redis JSON. Thank you for sharing some of the use cases as well. We have a poll here right now. What would you like to use Redis for? Caching, searching? Yeah, searching, searching is a great use case. Document store, we are seeing more and more of that Redis JSON coupled with search. Redis search makes for a good combination to cover a lot of use cases, and AI, ML, and leaderboard as well. And we have also been joined by one of our senior solution architects here, Suyog Kale. Suyog, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to help us out answering questions. There has been a question on the Q&A panel that Suyog has answered. Any constraints? The question was any constraints on the key and value, like size and number of keys, or does it totally depend on memory of a system? And Suyog replied back saying, Redis is a key value pair and the max limit is 512 megabytes per pair. It can be configured. You can have millions of such records in Redis as far as you have enough memory to allocate. And good part is Redis supports vertical as well as horizontal scale. That's gives you a comprehensive picture of what Redis can do. Thank you, Suyog. And whenever Sumit is ready for the demo, he can, Sumit, you can get started whenever you're ready, sir.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Prasanna.
Thank you, sir.
So now I'll showcase a demo where we have built a web shop called Redis Mart, and we call it as a world fastest e-commerce shop available as of today. This is only developed for demo purpose and is fully based on Redis Enterprise as a primary database without any other data. You can see here different services built for this demo application, where you can see here as a purchase service, product catalog, where a retail customer can access to catalog and product details by being able to find products based on variety of criteria. For example, full text search based on price ranges or product ratings. This is based on our capabilities called Redis Search and the Redis JSON, which we just talked about. And if a user doesn't know the brand name or want to buy a similar product based on the images, he or she can use the image recognition service. This is based on Redis Search, Redis Gears, and Redis AI. Redis Gears here is also a Redis module to run distributed functions on top of Redis Data. There is also an inventory service where inventory managers can have an accurate real-time view of inventories within stores, or can have a near real-time views on their inventories across multiple geographies. This is also based on Redis Search and the Redis JSON. And here you can see we have deployed in the demo the Redis Smart application in 2 different regions, US Central and Europe West, where the product catalog and the inventory data is replicated bidirectionally between this US and the Europe region using an active-active geo-replication technology. Let's dive into the demo now.
Thank you, Sumit.
Are you able to see my screen, Prasanna?
Yes, I can see your screen. You're still on the slide screen. We are still
Okay, let
seeing your
me
slide.
reshare. Let
Yes.
me reshare my screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Now
Yes,
are you able to see?
we can see it now. We can see the Redis Mart web page.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So here you can see that we have deployed the Redis Mart in two regions. One is the US Central, and the other is Europe, right? And first, before we dive into the demo, just let me explain the data modeling, how the data modeling is done in the Redis database. I'm just flashing the Redis Insight. Are you able to see, Prasanna, the Redis Insight?
Yeah. Yes,
screen?
I can see your Redis Insight page.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just to give a overview, Redis Insight is a developer user interface where anybody can log into the database and understand the data usage, memory usage to memory profiling, visualize the data, check the size of the Redis keys if they want to improve the Redis performance and various other advanced capabilities which it has, right? So it's a client-side tool which anybody can go ahead and deploy in Mac, Windows, or Linux operating system. And here I have deployed the Redis Insight in my MacBook. Here you can see I have also imported both the databases for both regions like US and the Europe. Now let's understand the data modeling in one of the databases here. So here in this database, you can see that there are more than approximate 3,900 keys are available. And for different use case, how we have data model for stock keeping units, we are using the data model as a string for inventory management. For product catalog, we are using data model as JSON, where we store different details of the products, including the ID, SKUs, name, description, price, rating, categories, image, etc. So this gives you a flexibility to store more and more data. You can have a detailed product-oriented details which can store within one single key within the Redis. We also store different categories of the Redis Mart application within the hash data structure. Here you can see different categories for different products like printers, ink toner, one category for smart speakers and displays, and so forth and so on and so forth, right? We also have the location data model if it is needed for user which is based on a particular geography, and we store it within the hash. And we are also using something called when a user places an order, these orders are sequenced in a Redis streams as well, so that these orders can be processed in a very fast manner. Now here you can see that you can choose a multiple categories here. Say for example, I am just choosing one of the categories called smart home here. So when I click this category, this was powered by the Redis operations, which is running behind the scenes. Let me show you what all Redis commands run when I click on that particular category, right? As you can see in the right part of this screen, we are running multiple Redis search queries where we have created the secondary index or the index for all the product catalogs and the categories within the Redis search. So that's and as I mentioned earlier, search works very well with the hash and the JSON data model. And on top of it, once the index has been created and the application is up and running, when you create a particular category, it will just run this query called ft.search, where if you are aware of the Redis, ft.search is an extension of Redis CLI operational additional commands, where ft means full text as in within the Redis search module. That means whenever you see a command called ft, it is based on Redis search, and there are wide list of commands available in our Redis open source website as well. As you can see here, only you need to go to the redis.io, go to the command section here, and you can filter different commands based on our extended capabilities besides the core capabilities which we have. And if you go to the Redis search here, you can see there are what all commands you can do or operate on top of Redis. So besides search, you can also perform advanced aggregate options where you can sort different results based on advanced functions like reduce, group by, sort by, and all. And if I further want to filter these products, if I say, for example, if I change the pricing from price range from $18 to $300, if I change to $200 to $300, you can see that it in runtime it updates and fires the Redis search queries, and all of these queries runs under the 5 millisecond. Whatever search or aggregation query I just mentioned, it all runs with the response times of less than 5 millisecond, which you can see here. The FT search function took around 1.46 millisecond, and other aggregate functions took around less than 3 millisecond here, right? And this generally fired within one REST API request, and whenever all these all these different service gets the API request, it fires it to Redis, and based on the response it gets from the Redis, is consolidate the response in terms of JSON, and it whatever results you see are the result of this JSON response. And to talk about active-active geo-replication, let me just explain how you can have a near real-time view of the inventory management. I will just change the size of the screen. First, let me disable this as well. So I'll just change here and just toggle it to the inventory dashboard for the which is developed for the inventory managers. Right now, say for example, if some of the retail customer or user is purchasing some product from one of the regions, say for example from Europe region, some user is purchasing the product, how an inventory manager who is monitoring the stocks on both US and the Europe region, I also showcase the demo of US region, how we are leveraging the active replication technology under the hoods. I'll only say, for example, I want to purchase one of the products which is called the Google Pixel Buds. I will just go ahead and select this product, and here I will search about this product in the inventory. Yeah, here you can see that currently within the stock 94 units are available as a part of inventory. And say for example, if a user goes ahead and purchase the product, I'll just select the buy now option here. I'll put the billing address and just select the payment option and other details, and if I just place the order, you can see the order has been placed successfully, and with the blink of an eye, you can see the stock has been updated within different geography, which is it got changed from 94 to 93. So you can see the power of active-active replication, how you can use in some of the innovative ways within your application architecture. I also want to show one advanced capability which is available, which is called as the vector similarity search. Say, for example, as I explained, we have something called image recognition service, where if a user want to search different product based on the images, or if he or she doesn't know the brand name, I'll just showcase that. I'll just click on the camera button here. You can see that I am just placing my headphones. If I want to buy the headphones with a similar brand or the color, I'll just click on capture here. And you can see in the results, I could see that there are 4 different headphones available with the same color and probably the similar brand. If you have the stock or the products available within the inventory, it will show within the results. And this also happens. It took around 222 milliseconds. And why it takes more time? Because we are running an AI ML algorithm in the between with the help of Redis gear function, where based on the images, what it gets captured, it runs in Redis gears function in the backend. And within that, once it runs a Redis gears function, it based on the image vectors, it stores all the vector embeddings within the Redis database. And once the vector embeddings are available in the database, we leverage the Redis search, which will compare the vectors and just populate the results within your screen. So that's all about the demo. So in this demo, I just wanted to summarize what we just learned. So in this demo, we just learned about some of the powerful capabilities, like how you can use Redis as a highly performant document database with advanced capabilities like search, creating secondary index or full text search. And we also see, also learn how you can use Redis within the active geo-replication architecture. You can use and think it of various use cases for making the system highly available and globally distributed, and other use cases like disaster recovery and providing local latency to the local users across different geographies. And we also see how you can use you can solve some of your advanced AI/ML use case like vector similarity search with the help of image recognition service, which I just showcased. That's it from my side. I am happy to answer any queries from now.
Yeah, so we do have a poll, a next poll, and then I will share some customer stories. Sumit, that was a great demo. I mean, the Redis JSON feature, that is so powerful. The search feature, it's amazing how it works with Redis JSON. The inventory sync up between it's like thousands of miles apart data centers where Redis is running, Redis clusters are running. The inventory sync up just happens within a blink of an eye. As soon as you purchase the product, just on the other data center across the ocean, it's reflected. And that's amazing. I mean, the speed at which Redis works just blows my mind. And then on top of that, you showed a great feature, the vector similarity search just blows my mind. It's just such an amazing feature with so many cool applications. And you just showed one of that, visual for powering visual search. Thank you for doing that. What is the peak traffic? This was a poll question that was being asked here. What is the peak traffic your application normally serves? Less than 5,000 TPS. There are quite a few. When you go up to like 20,000 TPS, 50,000 TPS, you are really looking at areas where Redis can really help you become better. There is no one reason why you should stick with a slower database. You want to have that great customer experience. You want a fast database. So Redis might be able to.
I also want to add a couple of points here.
Sure.
So the demo we saw, how the Redis search and JSON store and the real-time experience is changing the today's need. So there is a common challenge we have seen when we started working with our customer for this kind of requirement, right? Like, let's say we have data in the relational database, maybe Oracle, MS SQL, MySQL. How we can sync this data in the real time into Redis, so that we can serve the front end traffic, right? The good part is we have a lot of connector for these databases, so that you will implement this connector which will sync this data into the Redis, maybe hash and JSON format, and then you can build your this front end traffic. So there is an ecosystem there, and if anybody is interested to know how it works, we can definitely help them. Yeah. Like example, the similar demo that there are actually all top tier media organizations, OTT platforms today, they are using Redis, right? It's only because of, they were having this data, then building the quick search, inventory, recommendation engine kind of things are, pretty cool, like, building that in a millisecond time, the response time, right?
Yeah, it's a Suyog. Thank you for that. It's a great point that you make about working how Redis can work with your relational database, offload the data into Redis and make your own applications faster. Thank you for sharing that story. And we have that poll, and we could move on to the next. We have, I think, 5 more minutes. I'm going to share. And also, Arbir has asked a question, and Suyog has answered that. So, Suyog, thank you so much for taking the lead. There've been few more questions from Arbir, and Suyog has been handling that. Thank you, Suyog. And let me quickly share a few customer stories, and we will go from there. So. Okay, I think I got the right screen now. And here is our first customer example. Ekata helps prevent fraud. It primarily sells its services to e-commerce, financial services, and payment companies. A great customer experience depends on Ekata correctly and quickly identifying honest customers and approving their transactions. Ekata verifies the authenticity of businesses and people by using identity graph built on Redis Enterprise. This verification process offered by Ekata allows retailers, banks, and other firms to automate the process of onboarding new vendors onto a platform or help customers open accounts. Ekata's goal is to reduce the friction and thus enhance customer experience in verifying financial transactions while at the same time keeping their infrastructure costs low. Ekata has built a massive database of 5 billion keys on Redis. Their previous in-memory solution was too expensive to operate for their scale. Ekata settled on Redis on Flash for that deployment. Ekata is an excellent example of how Redis helped them achieve their business goals. These 2 quotes from SVP of Engineering, Varun, summarizes how Redis directly addressed his business goals. Ekata had sub-100 millisecond latency requirements, according to Varun Kumar. Redis on Flash reduced their RAM usage, thus saving money while meeting their strict latency requirements. So Ekata used Redis on Flash. What is Redis on Flash? Redis Enterprise allows the creation of Redis on Flash databases that extend your DRAM capacity with Flash or solid state drives. Flash is relatively slower compared to DRAM, but it enables you to store significantly more data with fewer resources, reducing overall storage cost. As Ekata customer story showed you, you can see substantial cost savings with Redis on Flash without compromising your performance goals. Ulta Beauty is a fantastic success story. Ulta Beauty is a beauty retailer based in the US. In 2021, Ulta saw its sales increase by 40% and its earnings per share increase by over 400%. Ulta Beauty is now the largest beauty retailer in the US, carrying more than 25,000 products. Ulta Beauty first started off with open source Redis, and now their entire e-commerce platform is powered by Redis Enterprise. Ulta uses Redis Enterprise Cloud on GCP Marketplace for the real-time inventory system, starting from their product detail page to code generation during the checkout process. It powers their buy online, pickup and store process as well. Ulta uses Redis as a primary database for their functions across its e-commerce platform. Before Redis, Ulta relied on the third-party order management SaaS solution. This SaaS solution was charging them for every product inventory. The queries to the SaaS solution resulted in they being charged for every one of their operations, and that was impacting their cost, and they couldn't scale to serve the 3 million customers per day. By introducing Redis Enterprise, Alta cut calls to the third-party SaaS system, saving them millions of dollars in operational expenses and the opportunity to improve reliability and provide 5.9 availability SLA as well. There is a great video interview of Alta's IT director, Omar Concado, and you can watch that on YouTube. You can scan the QR code provided here. And Omar said this in his interview. We went from a fast pilot to the whole chain. And even though we had to do a lot of changes and increase capacity across different technologies, Redis was the only one we didn't have to touch because it was able to sustain the growth seamlessly. That is how reliable it is. He added that Redis Enterprise is one of the few things in the system he didn't worry about in that entire stack. We appreciate that, Omar. It's a fantastic testimonial, and it speaks to the power of Redis Enterprise and this partnership that we have with Alta Beauty. So please go watch this video if you want to learn more on YouTube. Here are more use cases in the retail industry. At Redis, we have customers across various industries: manufacturing, banking, financial services, insurance, retail, gaming, and healthcare. I have presented more retail use cases here, and you saw the great demo that Sumit showed here of the retail mart that we have built internally that shows you 2 clusters operating geographically separated by an ocean. But many of the Redis features you would use to implement these use cases can also solve challenges in your industry. You can search for inventory using geo search feature in Redis Enterprise, as Sumit also discussed in his presentation. For example, many companies face supply chain issues and low inventory for specific products. Manufacturing companies may use Redis to get a real-time view of their worldwide inventory, just the way that Sumit showed in his demo. You can get a real-time view of inventory from across the globe. My favorite is the visual search feature. I have to say that is super cool to watch. Every single time I watch it, it is so fast. Visual search, that's another customer experience thing. It has to be fast, or else it doesn't work. People get frustrated and say this feature doesn't work and they move on. But what Sumit showed you, super fast feature to implement your visual search. And those got so many other areas. Imagine you're searching for like your eyeglasses. I like these eyeglasses. I want to get something very similar to this. If I use a picture of my eyeglass frame and ask a retail app to look for similar frames, that would make my life easy. It is very difficult to describe eyeglasses using text. But the search needs to be fast, and that is what visual similarity search, visual search gives you, that is powered by our Redis Enterprise feature called vector similarity search. Many use cases described here can be implemented with advanced analytics or an ML model. You need real-time data to implement the ML model. Many customers use Redis as a feature store and serve data in real time to these ML model. So the possibilities are completely endless when you are with Redis. You have ideas in you that you can implement today. You can try out Redis for free and implement your use cases using various features and see which features would meet your requirements. Plus, you have talented people like Sumit and Suyog ready to help you. So make use of us, make use of our talent, and go build something for your company. You can get a $200 cloud credit when you sign up. So we have this once in a lifetime opportunity to make a difference. So let's go try something out, try some of our ideas and learn something, and then make our apps better. There are various ways in which Redis is contributing to our developer community. You can access all these resources to further your knowledge and understanding of Redis and the various use cases. So I'm truly grateful for your time. There is also these various blogs and resources that's available. So please go use these and learn more. Please reach out to us. And any questions, any more questions that might have come up, we are more than willing to answer those. I see that Suyog has taken care of almost all the questions here. Suyog, thank you so much for taking care of these. And I think we are a little bit over time. So if there are no other questions, we'll give it maybe, if you have any questions, let us know. If there are no other questions, we will close out this session. We are truly grateful for taking the time to be with us. And I am grateful to both Sumit and Suyog for taking the time to do this for us. If there are any questions, let us know, or else I know it's been a while now, so we are willing to close this session out, and we are truly grateful for your time.